If you also want to drive a supercar on a racetrack, but you think there's no way you can afford that, then I want to make this video for you to put it into perspective, and hopefully by the end of that video you will be like, it might be even possible for me as well. Welcome back to another episode of Tick Off Tuesday. This is the show where I talk about how I ticked off half of my bucket list with the goal to help you to also create memories like this. And today I want to talk about how I drove a supercar on the racetrack. The number one excuse that people have why they don't take action on their bucket list is because they might not be able to afford something. And I get it, something like this is expensive. It's something that you don't need, it's just something that you would do for fun. And spending 680 euros to do something like that just for fun is absolutely ridiculous. I totally agree with that. Keep in mind that I did this in Dubai, and Dubai is just super expensive when it comes to activities like this. I found other offers in Austria, where I live, for 175 euros to drive the exact same car, which is a Ferrari 458 Challenge. So cheaper options definitely exist as well. However, 175 euros can still be expensive for some of you, and I totally get that. I mean, there are countries where the average income in a month is not even 175 euros. But also then, I don't think the question is whether or not you can afford it. The question should be, how willing are you to save up that money? If you save up money for 10 years, if you really want that so bad, I'm pretty sure you can do that as well. But unfortunately, this is how the world is. Some people are very privileged and they can do stuff like this for fun, and then there are other people who are struggling to just get enough food on their plate. And if that's you and you feel like it's impossible to go after your bucket list, I would like to make this video to just put it into perspective a little bit. And then for all the other people who are already privileged, it definitely will eliminate all the excuses about money, because I still believe that if you want something bad enough, there is a way to save up that money, and putting it into perspective might makes you believe a little bit more in that you actually can do it as well. So I'm gonna take this expensive example anyways. So I paid 680 euros to go on the racetrack with this car, and 680 euros, if you would save up 13 euros every week for an entire year, that would already get you to 676 euros. And if you live in a country like Austria or just in Europe in general, you cannot tell me that it's not possible for you to save up not even 2 euros per day in order to do that. It's definitely possible if this is really something that you truly want. Obviously, you're not gonna accomplish that when you just think, okay, it would be nice, maybe at some point. You really need to feel like this is what I want to do and experience. Because then you can also think about, okay, 13 euros per week. 13 euros would give you a meal if you eat out. And if you're like, okay, I'm not gonna eat out this week, then you can save those 13 euros. Or 2 euros, you could save that by, instead of taking the bus, you just walk. Maybe that's an option as well. I'm just trying to give you the perspective that if you break it down into like what you need to save up per day, it will make it clearer for you to see that how much you need to save up. And then you can also get a sense for what you can not do in order to save that money. But I say it again, you really need a desire that you really want to do that. And it's kind of hard for me to talk about this topic because obviously I am very privileged. I grew up in Switzerland, I now live in Austria. So I never come from a place where money was so limited that I couldn't even afford a meal. And I know, unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there who are struggling with those basic things. And for those people, a bucket list is just not a thing because they need to take care of their basic needs first. However, I still want to believe that there are things we need to do in our life that fulfill us, that bring us joy. And maybe that's not going on a racetrack with a supercar, which is super expensive, but maybe that's something like going on a little adventure with a friend. Maybe that's going on a little hike through nature, just in your area. It doesn't have to cost anything. It's just something that gives you joy and something that makes you excited for the future. Because I also believe that the more things you try in your life, the more experience you get and the more confident you get. So for all the other goals that you have, you develop this mindset that you really believe that everything is possible. And this is really the point where you want to get. And for me, when I get to the point where I'm like, oh, that's so expensive, I cannot afford that, I just try not to quit there. I try to think about different ways on how to make that possible, or just try to put that into a different perspective. So for example, for how long do I need to save up €1 per day in order to save that money to make it happen? So I totally get it. It's so easy to say, I cannot do it because it's too expensive, but just ignore that and try to look for other ways, because there are other ways, I can promise you. I already talked about this 2 weeks ago, that for example you could offer a service or just a skill that you're very good at that you can offer to that company, and in return you get a discount or even you get that thing for free. With this video I just want to encourage you to think further and don't stop when your mind tells you you cannot do it because it's too expensive. Because even if you think something is too expensive, I feel like there might be a way that you can reprogram your mindset, that you all of a sudden will think, okay, maybe I can afford it. So to talk a little bit more about this experience, we actually went there the day before to test seat in the car, because I'm taller than they would recommend for those cars. I'm 6'4", which is 1 m92 cm. So I'm too tall for these kind of supercars. So that's why we went there the day before, so I can just test sit in the car to actually figure out if it works. And luckily it did, because that would have been so bad. And then the next day we went there. Obviously I got a briefing, someone explained it to me in all the details. And then there was also a guy who was actually sitting next to me in the car. And he also had a brake on his side, so in case I'm going too fast that he could brake as well, which actually happened like 2 or 3 times, because it feels like a video game when you drive this car. It doesn't really feel real, like you're in there and you're just driving around, like everything feels like a video game. That's probably the best description. So that's why I felt like there's nothing that can happen. So I just drove sometimes too fast. Then I was happy that the other guy had a brake as well. I don't really remember how many laps I did, but it went by so fast. And then it was already over and I made it over the finish line. And obviously I was super stoked about this experience. It was very fun and definitely something that I will remember. I hope that video helped you a little bit. Please let me know in the comments or just message me if you are not sure about something, if you need help with anything else, or just what would be the reason why you cannot save up that money. I'm really curious to get another perspective from you guys as well, and maybe we can find a solution so you can tick off the things of your bucket list as well. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.